Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to What If Deku Was a Brain.
Last time I went off with a very big hint on what is to come. A red hooded figure and one other figure. Those who are... I gave hints throughout all my videos to what is to come. The Dekuverse is coming very, very soon. This is more like the pre-sequel. Or the beginning, as you will. Before everything goes down. So yes. This will be kind of like the ground up. This will be the base. As the more it goes, there will be more.
Shadows belong to me.
As you know, Red yes, I do remember where I put this now. Okay. I remember everything now. I just had to rewatch the video a little bit. Anyways, I'm back. Haha. Like 30. Well, how long was that? I had to like rewatch the entire video. That was like an hour and 30 minutes. Anyways, yes. As two figures behold Bane. As Bane is very confused, he senses familiarities between these two. One very powerful, and the other mysterious. We found you. As now we go to a week in the future. Haha, you think I'm gonna expose them? I gave big hints in the last Bane What If, which is, I believe, this is part 4, I actually believe. Let's see. Yes, this is part 4. So back in part 3, I did tell you who they were. Or at least give you major hints. Because the Dekuverse is coming faster than what you think. He is coming, and he is here to destroy everything in his path. But there's another universe that is not involved in the Deku universe, of course. It is called the What If I universe. If you haven't seen my first video on What If I was in My Hero Academia, I believe so. Let me see, go back all the way inside my memories. Let's see where I put the video. It was, yes, What If I was in My Hero Academia. My What If universe was surely oh so come over. Will I make other universes besides myself and Deku? I gave major hints, of course. Lots of hints. Soon, who knows, I might even start doing some hints I've hinted at. Now, the basics of what happened is that the three of them had, the three of us had a big talk. Me, Bane, and the other two. After explaining everything for me, how would you say, I had to get a grip on reality, of course. Knowing that there's one other that can stop this, I must continue my story, of course. So, sadly, for those who you want to know more about the Deku universe, will have to wait, of course. The information will go. I will give hints all throughout the video. As now we go to the week, which in another 2-week time span, there would be, I believe I did the Stain event already. If I didn't, there will be the Hosu City attack right after this one. There'll be more than one attack. If I double it, it's probably on purpose. If I double the attacks, like if I already did one before, there'll be another one. If you know what I mean, it is what it is. I'm practically, due to this being one of my long what ifs, I'm gonna have to. This what if specifically is gonna either end up at 6th, 7th, or 10th part, which is where I'm gonna end it. So yes, of course, though my main what ifs will also stay intact. Like what if Deku had a carnage mutation and whatnot.
Of course, I'm not the only one. Now let's get in with the video.
Now, let's see. How about, a good 2 weeks? I know how to make it interesting instead of having the same things.
So, in between those 2 weeks, I was, walking. Even though I was walking, since Raja Ghul had no tasks for me to do in those 2 weeks, besides gain information, all I had to do is just look around. So what I did is gain research and think about many things in my time. Of course, though, I will have to lead one day. And when it does happen, I will be resurrected in this type of sense. But I will never die, truly. I'm too strong to die. The earth has taken way too much from me, my family, my mom, my mother, my father. And what would happen is that my relatives in this world aren't fully dead. There's one other that is my family, you would say. Back all the way to Hisashi Midoriya, my father. Before he died by assassination or being jumped by another organization. There would, All for One's organization, before that happened, Hisashi Midoriya had romance feelings with Mrs. Shield. You all know her by before she also died, before the entire timeline appeared. Well, meaning that, technically, Melissa Shield is my, sister. After finding this out, I had great ideas. But David Shield has no knowledge of this whatsoever. This was before they met. Of course, though, due to reasons, it was about a year before Miss Shield and, David, or should I say Hisashi. Or, as I said, David and her got together. A year before that happened, Hisashi Midoriya and Miss Shield had something together, cheating on. Hisashi was not a very good man, you would say. He cheated on my mother with Miss Shield, you would say. But of course, at the time, I was yet too young, and leading to both deaths, or all three of them, their deaths. My mother's death, Miss Shield's death, and his own death, of course. I am not angry at what he did. Survival is survival. You have to do what you have to do, of course. But he only cheated for money. To get the money, he needed to pay off All for One. But due to his, others stealing his money and, screwing him over, killed him in the end. So you can't really trust others with your money, which my father did. As course, I took over the company. Or destroyed it, and rebuilt it, you would say. Or at least a good friend of mine does, at least. That was, rewritten in this world. Bruce Wayne. A very kind friend, you would say. After dying, or being recreated in this world. After a crisis, how you would say. A very nice man, of course. He is Batman, of course, but after me breaking his back, I did technically, after that we kind of hang around each other, knowing that this Batman was a lot more unknowledgeable. Oh, as we all know, the Batman, or normal Batman, is completely very smart, but our Bruce Wayne in this universe is decently smart. Not too smart, but decently smart. And now, due to this being a thing, there'll technically be two Batmans now. And who knows, others universes are being destroyed. Batman has, how do you say, the Batman universe has crumbled to dust. As a new one will be created. Now, let's get on with everything. As a vigilante, of course, beating upon villains who deserve so, I will be getting left and right without my license, of course. But, even though I don't have my license, I technically have my license for quirks and self-defense, of course. But of course, one other did not see this as so. One other just seen it as me abusing the power of the license for self-defense. Or, you would say, hero license. A premium hero license, not yet completed. One other did not see or did not like this, so what they did is try to defend, or not defend, but attack me the other day. This being Shota Aizawa. Of course, I had my other mask on, which is not on screen yet, but I had another mask on. Yes, we fought, but for now, that will be more of a other day. Now, this will be connected more to the Dekuverse, as you know. This is kind of the center of the Dekuverse. Practically. As you know, there will be a very, how do you say, magical reference in this what if. Magical upon which way? Zarathos, should I say? Dark magic, Doctor Strange magic, who knows, even Infinity Stone magic. Many things in this world are known. But of course, at this rate, he will come soon for my world as well. But knowing that we have many strong, and he needs to become even stronger than us, he will take his time finding this world. And now, in the distance, you will see me training. As the time came, I was training under the rays of Ra's al Ghul, training to become stronger, or at this point I couldn't get any stronger, so more tactical, you would say. Training me to go off my mask in full power, full extent. So what would happen is that I would gain my shock absorption would increase by 20%, of course, meaning that I can now fight All Might, evenly played. Of course, though, without his quirk, All Might is nothing to me. And knowing that this is a revenge story to come, we will now be seeing that there is only one other to defeat in this world, for me to now fully help out my other comrades. Now, we start. All for One, of course. All for One in his base figured out that someone survived. Someone that shouldn't have survived, but he does not know who. All he knows is that one of us, or one of the people he trapped, survived, and cannot allow them to expose where his location is. As this will be, how would you say, a clone of some sort. Where do you say clone? I mean, how do you say, a very... This will be a very unique clone. What type of clone will it be? A clone meant for a tactical Nobu, or Nobu that can think on its own. Or more like giving others abilities that may not be able to turn it into a Nobu, kind of like a super soldier almost, like me. Of course, I'm stronger than it, but it can, how do you say, depending on what it is, I've been hunting it down ever since. All I know is of a clone of himself. But besides that, I do not know any other. This clone looked oddly familiar, but I don't know how to explain it. It looked like, how do you say, it's weird. Anyways, besides that, after meeting this clone, I thought it to be evil, but after getting to know this clone, it seems that it wasn't originally from this world either. But only one of many, though. So, this will be, how do you say, explain it simply is that our Ford is running out of time. What do I mean time? The quirk itself is eating him. Or what do you say? He's running out of time of his age. He's trying to make... If you ever known Batman Beyond, I believe, who was it? Jason Todd, I believe. After in therapy, after being beaten by a crow, how do you say? Oh wait, was it Jason Todd or Dick Grayson? I can't remember. But one of them, technically got control or had a mindset of a Joker. Had this little chip behind their neck in Batman Beyond. Yeah, that's a weird, but kind of transplanted their memories. That is what Awful One's trying to do. Trying to put his mindset inside of this clone of his. Clone has similarities between personalities, but besides that, the only difference is that this clone is good. And what happened to this clone is that after a while, the Hero Society wanted to find, knowing that All Might was looking at labs of Awful One after me spilling some secret information. Yes, I know a lot of locations where Awful One can be, but Awful One isn't my biggest priority. Yes, he may be a threat in the future, but my threat, not a universal threat. A universal threat is coming my direction. And knowing that my arm is now in a cast, I cannot, how would you say, it made my, with the help of some friends, I got a leather cast. A specific leather cast that can absorb more damage. Able to take beats from the Nomu. I should be on par with the Nomu by now. I was a little weaker than the Nomu, but more tactical, which is the only reason I really won. But anyways, what would happen is that I would try to look for the other versions of I. And slowly but surely I found another Bakugo from a universe. Not so fast, as this Bakugo was different from others. He was from, I believe, Carnage Rider's Bakugo, which had a bit of different differentiation. Finding other people that should not be here, but were recreated in this timeline, due to the reasons of Dr. Doc Galactus. He will be found eventually, but if any of them really wanted to intervene, a war would be started from universe to universe. So what would happen now is that I would meet a lot of new people. A woman that has a cat-like quirk. How would you say, not a cat-like quirk, but acts like a cat. A human-shaped crocodile. And some other things I would see. A person who can control plants, of course. This will eventually lead me that some other things are leaking into our universe slowly but surely, due to the destruction of Dr. Doc Galactus. Universes upon universes are being destroyed as we speak, ending that most of them end up in my universe. Out of the thousands of universes that are out there, my universe has the most, how do you say, most accurate rate of being transferred here. Others that are not transferred here are either transferred to other what ifs, or just in the background of some. As you know, what will happen next? Is that after all these weeks, something will happen. So anyways, after training, a short time of training and more of figuring out who's where and who wears where, I now know about 25 or 27% of where everyone from other universes are on my world, or where my universe is at, just to see if I or they can help me with some things. As now we go to, how to say, the Stain Arc. As we go to the Stain Arc, and right now it's Stain versus, how to say, Bane. Yes, Bane is very strong, but their agility and speed is outmatched by me. Of course, due to reasoning. In this world, Stain has not just a blood quirk, but a speed quirk, making him faster. As now, yes, I may be a top physical being capacity, but I do sense others. With Stain now, I do see one other with him. I cannot find who he is, but he seems to be a skeptical one. Only wanting to join if there's really any injuries upon this show called Stain. As I beat upon Stain, beating him, after a while I stopped playing around with him, being annoyed by his presence and that the other dared to hide. Not breaking his back, of course, but I mean, maybe. I broke some ribs, but besides that, no physical damage has been accepted. So, at this time, after getting a few cuts from Stain, my body was still able to not fully move, but at least warn off the effects of Stain's quirk. Yes, making me a tad slower. At least a good 30 or 60% slower, but I got, after a while, I did dodge some of Stain's attacks, and after that, I was back at full strength. And I gave Stain a priority. Either kill me, or look for the person who's aiming a target at his head. As Stain was now, this is his third time out of jail. Then, I guess this is the Stain arc, but this is kind of Stain arc part 2. Due to Stain still somehow escaping prison for once. But of course I cannot kill him for now. Heroes do not kill. As there is no Ida in this position. Ida was, how would you say? Ida was somewhat else. I guess she was probably at school. I was on my break since I had part-time at school, so during that, the class was acting and I was out doing what I wanted, to find information upon others. training day in and day out to stay fit. I learned how to control the darkness. Not just the darkness, but the weather. As now, I was able to fully master my full extent of power. After learning that, let's see, what other arcs are there? After Sports Festival I won, so there's no second Sports Festival, that'd be stupid. I already won the Sports Festival, so I'll say the Forest arc. The training camp arc. Which I don't really get to this as much often as my other what ifs, but this Forest arc will appear in about a week or so. So after the week, after me looking for research and whatnot in that same week, will be the training arc. So yes, of course I was forced to go over my free will, but due to me being a teacher's helper, and a janitor technically, I had to, how would you say, I had to do some things. And after me training brutally, and also cleaning up the school a bit, the time for others to train without my teachings were now. As on the bus, they were just talking non-stop about their quirks. The quirks this and quirks that. They never work out at all. I mean, they do, but they mainly focus on the quirks. Quirks aren't everything, but I guess all universes are different with their quirks. I was never born with one. As you know, one other tried to come up with me. I wanted to know if it was true. But what happened when I talked to him, there was something different about him. He was saying that I should be somewhere else at that time, as this will be after the bus ride. I was very silent during the bus ride flashback. There are many things that I do not tell my students, or technically my students, yes. Since I am technically a second teacher, I paid very close attention just in case any position, or if they chose to be evil, I did have to, how do you say, restrain them, of course. After they fall using Mandalays or the other Wild Bald Pussycat abilities. While they fell down to the forest, I jumped right at the perfect moment to avoid falling down using that slide quirk, that rock slide quirk. I avoided it by being in the very back, moving away from the bottom, and also preventing me from sliding with the clash. As no one notices this, but I hide in the shadows, as I make it to camp about 30 minutes before everyone else. Why? Because I have connections. Well, besides that, there was one other that was weird, of course. Anyways, what would happen is that there would be a very big boom as I go to check what that boom was. And it was a weird version, a weird explosion that caught me off guard, as now I would say everything. Remember, this will be a leave a like, subscribe, and comment down the video, and I'll see you all later. Yeah.